Good day. So this afternoon, we're going to discuss what is the need for security. So to begin with, let me introduce myself to you. By the way, I am Mrs. Trell S. Balandres, your first speaker. And for this whole topic, let me introduce to you my co-speaker, the second speaker, Miss Anna Jane Gore, the third, Miss April Mikyuko, and lastly, Miss Claire Tunga, our fourth speaker. Our learning objectives of this topic: first, discuss the organizational need for information security. Second, explain why a successful information security program is the shared responsibility of an organization's three community of interest. Third, list and describe the threats posed to information security and common attacks associated with those threats. Lastly, list the common development failures and errors that result from poor software security effort. Here are the four important functions of organization. So, first, protecting the organization's ability to function. Protecting the data and information the organizations collect and uses, whether physical or electronic. Third, enabling the safe operations of applications running on the organization's IT system. Lastly, safeguarding the organization's technology asset. So, business need first, protecting functionality. So, in protecting functionality, there are three communities of interest. First, the general management. Second, the IT management and information security management. Those are each responsible for facilitating the information security program that protects the organization's ability to function. Protecting data that organizations collect and uses. Without data, an organization loses its record and transactions and its ability to deliver value to customer. Enabling the safe operations of applications. Today, organizations are under immense pressure to acquire and operate integrated, efficient, and capable applications. Safeguarding technology assets in organizations. To perform effectively, organizations must employ secured infrastructure hardware appropriate the size and scope of enterprises. For instance, a small business may get by in its startup phase using a small-scale firewall, such as small office, home office, or SOHO device. Threats and attacks. Attack, an intentional act that can damage or otherwise compromise information and the system that support it. Attacks can be active or passive and direct or indirect. Exploit, a technique used to compromise a system. Vulnerability, a potential weakness in an asset or its defensive control system. So here are the 12 category of threats. So, compromise of intellectual property, deviations in quality of service, espionage of trespass, forces of information, human error or failure, information extortion, sabotage or vandalism, software attacks, technical hardware failures or errors, technical software failures or errors, technological obsolescence, and theft. Compromises of intellectual property or IP, the creations, ownership or control of original ideas as well as the presentations of those ideas. Software piracy, the unauthorized duplication, installation, or distributions of copyright computer software which is a violation of intellectual property. Copyright protections and user registration, a number of technical mechanisms, digital watermarks, embedded code, copyright codes, and even the intentional placement and bad sectors on software media have been used to enforce copyright laws. Deviations of quality service. So, ability disruption and interruptions in service, usually from service provider, which causes an adverse event within an organization. Downtime, the percentage of time a particular service is not available, the opposite of uptime. Service level agreement or SLA, a document or part of a document that specify the respective level of service from a service provider. As an SLA usually contain provisions for minimum acceptable availability and penalties or remediation procedure for downtime. Uptime, the percentage of time a particular service is available, the opposite of downtime. Internet service issue, in organizations that rely heavily on the internet and the World Wide Web to support continued operations. ISP failures can considerably undermine the availability of information. Communications and other service provider issue. Other utility services can affect organization as well as. Among these are telephone, water, wastewater, trash, pickup, cable, television, natural or propane gas, and custodial services.
So, good day. My name is Anna Jane Ogori and I will be your second speaker for this discussion. And I will discuss what is power irregularity. Power irregularities lead to fluctuations such as power excess, power shortage, and power losses. So when power voltage levels vary from normal, expected levels such as during spike, fault, surge, sag, noise, brownout, and blackout, and that power how many power is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 powers of voltage. I will explain that later on the next slide. So, the sensitive electronic equipment vulnerable to and easily damaged or destroyed by fluctuations. So, controls can be applied to manage power quality. So, by the way, I have some copies here. So, another issues are along the lines of power irregularities. This has to do with fluctuation of power, could be from power shortage as well as power losses. Could be a higher voltage and lower voltage. So organizations have services, and in that service definitely required a certain type of voltage to function, as well as a certain amount of current to any decoration in terms of the amount of current and voltage that is loaned with the service. So being blown up in the source because it's not meant to handle. So that's sub excess power. So all these things can definitely affect organization. So there are also controls that can be put in place. One could be the organization to use stabilizers along the power line. Along the power line showers, they could also use surge protectors. So as what I've said earlier, there are the meanings of the power voltage. So blackout, it is a long-term interruption, outage, and electrical power availability. While brownout, a long-term decrease in electrical power availability. And then fault, a short-term interruption in electrical power availability. While the noise, the presence of additional and disruptive signals in network communication or electrical power delivery. Sag, it is a short-term decrease in electrical power availability, while spike, a short-term increase in electrical power availability, also known as swell. While the surge, which is the last power voltage, it is a long-term increase in electrical power availability. So we have espionage or trespass. So access of protected information by unauthorized individual. So just like individual have their own properties, and you put a no trespassing sign because you don't want anyone go into your properties. And things like that, similar things apply to technology as well as your information system and software. because all system do is house information. And by housing information, these are definitely ways to access that information by going through the system. And now, unauthorized access means someone who can access your information with your consent. And with opposite rather, unauthorized individuals that are not allowed to access that information, but still they do access. So I will give you some scenario. If you give someone a key, it means that person has an authorized access to your house, car, or something. And if someone enter your house without the key, but they enter by breaking the window, the walls, just to go in there, that's pretty much the thief, right? But if we relate that to our system or information, they are the hackers who is trying to get your full information so that they can use that thing against you. So what is hackers? So hackers use skills or fraud to bypass controls protecting others' information. So there are someone tends to think that term hacker is cool, but there are different types of hackers depending on the skill set. So first is expert hackers. Develop software, scripts, and programs. So they use extensive knowledge of the inner workings of computers, hardware, and software to gain unauthorized access to systems. Next is unskilled hacker who use expertly written software exploit a system. Next is cracker, from the word cracks, or remove software protection designed to prevent unauthorized duplication or use. Phreaker, a hacker that hacks the public telephone system to make free calls or disrupt services. Next, we have password attacks. 10.4 password rules. So I know that everyone is very familiar on this attacks, which is password attacks. So an industry recommendation for password structures and strength that specifies password should be at least 10 characters long, contain one upper and lowercase letter, so one number and one special character. So very clear, right? Okay, let's proceed to brute force. So brute force is a guessing a password by attempting every possible combination of characters and numbers, just like they attempt to open your account with the use of your name, birthday, or something that they can use so that they can access your account. Next is cracking. They remove or bypass a password or other access control protections. So next, dictionary password. It is a guessing a password by using list of common passwords. Your old password, just like your old password. Next is rainbow table social engineering. And that's all. Thank you for listening.
So good afternoon. I'm April Mikyoko. I'm the third speaker. So for now, I will discuss what is a human error or failure. Human error or failure, this category includes acts performed without intent or malicious purpose or an ignorance by an authorized use. So this human error occurs when the users or the authorized person don't have any idea about the hacker. Social engineering is the process of using social skills to convince people to reveal access, credentials, or other valuable information to an attacker. Social engineering techniques. First, we had advanced free fraud, typically conducted via email, which an organization or some third party indicates that the recipient is due an exorbitant amount of money. Then we have a phishing, in which the attacker provides what appears to be a legitimate communication, usually a mail, but it contains hidden or embedded code that redirects the reply to a third party site in an effort to extract personal or confidential information. Then we have a pretexting, a form of social engineering that attacker pretends to be an authority who needs information to confirm the target's identity. Pretexting is commonly performed by telephone. Then last, we have a spear phishing, any highly targeted phishing attack. Then the information extortion, the act of an attacker or trusted insider who steals or interrupts access to information from a computer system and demands compensation for its return or for an agreement not to disclose the information. Information extortion, it is a ransomware. A ransomware computer software that is specifically designed to identify and encrypt valuable information in a victim system in order to extort payment for the key needed to unlock the encryption. So next, we have an online activism. So there are types of online activism. First, we have a cyber terrorist, a hacker who attacks systems that conduct terrorist activities via network or internet pathways. Then we have a cyber warfare, formally sanctioned offensive operations conducted by a government or state against information or system of another government or state. A hacktivist, a hacker who seeks to interfere with or disrupt system to protest the operations, policies, or actions of an organization or government agency. Then we have a software attacks. Software attacks, it is adware. Adware, it is a malware intended to provide undesired marketing in advertising in pop-ups and banners or on user's screen. Then a boot virus, also known as a boot sector virus, a type of virus that targets the boot sector. Virus, a type of virus written in a specific macro language to target applications that use the language. Malware. A malware, it is a computer software specifically designed to perform malicious or unwanted actions. So there are types of malware. First, we have a memory residential virus, a virus that is capable of itself in a computer's operating system starting with a computer is activated. Then, a non-memory resident virus, a virus that terminates after it has been activated, infected its host system, and replicated itself. Then, a polymorphic threat. Malware, a virus or worm that over time changes the way it appears to antivirus software programs. Then next, we have spyware. Any technology aids in gathering information about people or organization without a knowledge. Then a Trojan horse, a malware program that hides its true nature and reveals its design behavior only when activated. Then we have a virus, a type of malware that is attached to other executable programs. Virus hoax, a message that reports the presence of non-existent virus or worm, waste valuable times as employees shared message. Then a worm, a type of malware that is capable of activation and replicant without being attached to an existing program. Then zero-day attack, an attack that makes use of malware that is not yet known by the anti-malware software companies. And those are the malware. And now I will give the floor to Ms. Tungao.
Hello, I am your fourth speaker, the last and always been chosen. So now let's talk about the email attack. So, the email attack, these are the common attacks and some organizations suffer from it. Intent of email, it is to get personal or financial information or trick the recipient into installing malware in someone's device. So, mail bomb. A mail bomb is an attack designed to overwhelm the receiver with excessive quantities of email, while the spam are the undesired email, typically commercial, advertising, and transmitted by bulk. So, next are the communication interception attack. These are the common software-based communication attack include several subcategories designed to intercept and collect information transit. So, the man in the middle is a group that attack is positioned between two communicating parties in order to intercept or alter data traveling between them. So next, the farming. Attackers steal data using malware backgrounds processes or automatically send a user to a phishing website in their browser. Let's proceed to a packet sniffer. Attacks occurs when the attacker uses a packet sniffer to intercept and read sensitive data passing through the network. Spoofing. A spoofing is a technique through which a cybercriminal disguises themselves as known or trusted source. So, the next slide talk about the thief. So we are common with this word. So, the illegal taking of another property which can be physical, electronic, or the intellectual. In the picture, you can see what the thief look like. So, in conclusion, information security performs four important functions to ensure that information assets remain safe and useful. 1. Protecting the organization's ability to function. Second, enabling the safe operation of application implemented in the organization's IT systems. Third, protecting the data an organization collects and uses. Fourth, safeguarding the organization technology and assets. And that's the discussion all about. Thank you.